From the News Channel 5 Network, this is OpenLine.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to OpenLine. I'm Ben Hall. You see, we have a full house here tonight. Take a look at this. We have two Metro Police detectives with us. They are from the fraud unit, and they can talk all about scams that are happening here in Nashville. And also Shelley Currington with AARP, the Advocacy Director. Thank you for being with us once again, Shelley. And also to Detective Anita Prather. Thank you. And Detective Kevin Allen. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So we're talking about, and we talked about this, but it's because it is such a big concern for so many people. And I want to encourage you to call in if you have encountered a scam recently. Maybe you stopped it from happening to you, and you can share with us how you did that. Or maybe you weren't so fortunate and you want to share with us what happened to you. But I want to, Detective, what are some of the, how prevalent is this, first of all? How prevalent are these scams right now in Nashville?
Well, we have all types of scams that are constant throughout the year. It doesn't really pick up during the holiday season, so we just see it constant throughout the year. There's several type of scams that are reported to our office, and I'll go through some of them that we see on a regular basis. We have one that's called the pigeon drop that usually target the elderly people, usually at the shopping centers, grocery stores. Basically what that is they'll approach an elderly person, persuade them to give up a sum of money, like good faith money, in order to receive rights to a lot larger amount. And what they'll do is they'll flash money in front of them, and there's usually two people involved in that. One will claim to be a lawyer or know a lawyer or have a friend in the banking business and tell this person, hey, we can split this 3 ways legally, but you have to give up some good faith money, and they'll convince them to go to their bank and withdraw money.
Now, I've heard of that on the phone, but you're saying this is taking place in person to person.
Yes.
And they're at a shopping mall or at a shopping center or something like that?
Yeah, I've seen it mostly in grocery store parking lots, and the scam artists are good because they're good about not going inside the banks and staying away from surveillance cameras.
Wow. Okay, that's an interesting one. What's another one? What else kind of comes to mind?
The one that I'm seeing a lot is with home health care workers. They go into seniors' homes to assist them and end up stealing either credit cards or their checks, and then they go shopping.
Yeah, that's a big one. They're stealing their personal identification,
Yes.
certainly their credit cards. And how long generally do they get away with it before the credit card is stopped, or they stop this?
The case that I recently had, it took my victim about 2 weeks before she realized there was charges being placed on the card. But by the time that we got involved, there was a substantial amount placed on her credit cards.
Yeah, that's...
So I talked to the credit card company, and I'm pretty sure we got everything worked out. I was able to develop a good suspect, but it came from a home care worker who was there to assist her, and basically what she did was she went through her house and found her credit cards.
And we're going to talk about more, because there are a lot of these. Those are two very interesting ones. And Shelley, Fraud Watch Network, you've been doing this about 18 months now. Again, give us kind of the thumbnail sketch of what it is.
So AARP nationwide wanted to assist people to be able to protect themselves from frauds and scams by giving them a heads up about what's going on in their area. We have an email sign up, so if you sign up, you can get on our watchdog alert list. And our national office is in contact with law enforcement nationwide, so that we're getting the information that like our Metro detective unit has, and so that we're able to share that so that people can be aware. But we also want to give people the heads up on what are some red flags, what are some things you should be aware of, and how you can protect yourself, and so that everyone, regardless of their age, can feel confident in the decisions that they make and reduce the risk of becoming a victim of a fraud or a scam.
And do you think these kinds of things are happening more, let's say, than 5 years ago? or 10 years ago? I mean, are we seeing an increase in this kind of activity? What do you think?
It's hard to say. To me, it does appear there's been an increase, but I think it's just more people that are actually reporting it. They're coming forward. These advocacy groups and the media do a great job putting this information out, making people realize, hey, there's a lot more victims out there. I better come forward with my story. So I do think that helps out a lot.
And so often people are reluctant to come forward. They feel embarrassed or whatever, and hopefully, I bet you see that. Sometimes they're even reluctant to report this because they feel embarrassed, much less call in. But it's important to get that information out there so that it can be stopped. So let's go to Stacy. Hello, Stacy.
Hi. I ran into something a few years ago, and there's a more recent example of it, and I'm curious as to what your guests think as to. I think it's a legitimate business practice bordering on the fraudulent. And what that is a few years back I got an oversized card in the mail with a facsimile of a car key, and basically it's a come on to go to the dealership, see if the car fits, the lock fits the key, and if it does, you win a car. If it doesn't, there are other prizes, and everybody's guaranteed a prize. And of course, what they try to do is sell you a car. So I went, and I ended up with a gift card. I think it was like a $5 Walmart gift card or something. I took it to Walmart. They didn't know anything about it. They wouldn't honor it, and so on and so forth. So just a few weeks back, and there was a Hyundai dealership on Broadway. Was doing the same thing, and I was going down to that area anyway. So I took the key, took the card with the key on it, same kind of concept. Went down there, and surprise, surprise, the key did not fit the lock. The salesman, I said to him, he was kind of, but the differences between the two is, in the first instance, I brought down this postcard, and they took the postcard from me, so there was no real complaining. Well, this time I copied the card ahead of time so I would have it, and I went down, and the salesman started talking to me and said that in order to give me this, this was a $5 Kmart card, I guess this time, and he said I'd have to fill out a bunch of papers, and I just kind of said, well, I don't understand why I have to fill out a bunch of papers just to get this card, because I'm telling you up front, so I won't waste anybody's time, that I'm not interested in, a sales pitch for a car or whatever. And I guess he'd had too many people like me to that point, because he kind of took me aside and he said, this thing is a scam. And I said, I know it's a scam. And he says, let me just, get you to, basically forge this paper and sort of, give a fake name and all this kind of stuff, and I'll give you the card, and you'll be on your way. And so that's pretty much what we did. A couple was coming in as I was leaving, and I'm sorry, it was a couple of ladies actually, and one of them looked like she was severely physically handicapped, and I just told her right up that this is a scam, don't waste your time. And her attitude was almost like, don't tell me, I'm going to make up my own mind.
Well, she wants to see if she wants a car. All right, let's talk about this. Does that rise to the level of what you all might look into? Either one of you can take that.
Not really. It sounds more like an advertising ploy to get people in there to buy a car. I've received those mailings myself at home, and yeah, it's just how you take it. It is a ploy, and just be careful. I mean, if you go in there, they want you to buy a car, not necessarily anything we would investigate. Maybe if you want to complain to like the Better Business Bureau or something like that.
Better Business Bureau is the better bet there. But I think that, and he called it a scam, the person that worked at that business, that scheme is at the root of why so many of these scams work. Because people get something and they think they're going to win big. So it is counterintuitive that you're going to get a key in the mail that is going to start a car, but everyone wants to hope against hope that's what's going to happen. Right. And is that kind of what's at play here, Detective?
There's especially with the elderly, there's a lot of them that feel like, well, if I win this, I can help my family or do something good before, I pass away or whatever, and a lot of people take chances on that because their hope is that they can help their family, and that's what the scammers are counting on.
All right, we are going to take a break. We have several calls. You're on the line. Hold on, because we want to get to your call. If you want to call, we have a few lines open, 737 plus 737-7587. We'll take a break and be back right after this.